Hello and welcome to The Print. Well, the Modi government Wednesday announced that caste enumeration will be part of the next census exercise, a decision coming amid the opposition's persistent demand for such a survey. And in the run-up to the Bihar Assembly elections, we have with us Arvind Kumar, who is a visiting lecturer in politics and international relations, University of Hertfordshire, UK. He also holds a PhD in politics from Royal Holloway University of London, UK. Well, welcome to The Print, Mr. Kumar. Well, you must have seen what has happened in India. What are the implications of this exercise and this decision?
Uh, Thank you, Neelam. Yeah, I have been following the debate on caste census and recent development. And particularly, I am following this debate since 2010. You might be knowing that in
Yes.
2010, just before like 2011 census, there was intense demand from opposition party. Then BJP was in opposition, and Gopinath Munde, who was deputy leader of the party in Lok Sabha, he has taken the lead in demanding caste census way back in 2011, and there was consensus on conducting caste census, but at the last moment, UPA government backtracked, and then they announced that there would be a separate socio-economic census, which happened, but its report was not released. Now, opposition has been consistently demanding for caste census, and we cannot say like Modi government was completely against, but it was hesitant of going for the caste census, and it has written to, instead of like conducting census at the national level, it has written to state governments for conducting caste survey, and now it has accepted the demand. One reason which I see it has accepted the demand, because now issue of caste census has become issue of masses actually. So earlier, when only elite section of backward classes were demanding for the caste census, then for any government it was easy for ignore it or sideline it. But now the demand has gone in the masses, which we can see consistently. People coming from backward classes of the society, they are consistently writing on social media. There are this issue is getting raised in election rallies of the party. So if a issue has become mass issue, then it is then any government cannot ignore it. So in that context, I see present government has actually accepted that demand, and while accepting that demand, I see like it has snatched a big issue from opposition parties. Or another way, I can say that there was higher possibility of the demand for caste census getting politicized, and certain political parties might uh, have gained benefit of this issue, particularly in those states where there is excessive politicization of caste. So there, this demand has, like for example, in Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Bihar. So these are the states which are considered to be like extensively politicized line on the line of caste. Now, by taking like by accepting this demand, government has I will say it has snatched an issue from opposition parties.
But what are its implication? What does it mean? Like, if a caste census will be done, will we see some changes in the way certain sections will get benefits of reservation? What does it mean?
Yes, see, when we have, I also personally, I do not see any logic of not enumerating caste in the census. Reason being that one of like topmost policy of the country, whether we like or someone like or dislike, which is reservation policy, is based on, it is framed on the caste. So if a policy, if country's lead policy is based on the caste, then there should be scientific data for that. We can no longer rely of the data of like 1931 data, based on which this policy has been framed. So I do not see like any logic for opposing the caste census. Of course, it can have larger political implications. So take for example one implication which I see, which is said in politics, caste becoming salient. So like its relevance might get increased in policy domain, in public discourse. People might like discuss about the idea, okay, which caste have got which how received how much share in government job, in political, in the appointments of candidates, and in MP, MLA. These kind of debate like can take place in Indian society. That's one aspect of caste census. It can also burst several narratives like which caste dominates in the government job and all these idea, like it has potential to burst that narrative. And secondly, which I see, it has also potential to destabilize existing Hindu Muslim binary, because within particularly of course, like caste census is seen as an issue of Hindus, but it has also its implication on Muslim politics. And that you can see when Tejasvi Yadav demanded for caste census, he said it should be conducted only in Hindus, not Muslim. Specifically, he wrote that it should not be conducted Muslim. But we know that Muslims in India are also divided based on the caste and community line. And coming off that data might help quite a lot, like for framing public policy and for reframing discourse on minority politics the way it has been framed in over last like 20-30 years.
Well, caste was never included in any census since independence. As you pointed out, Congress-led UPA government also had in 2011 enumerated caste data as part of its socio-economic and caste census, SECC, but the figures were never made public. But we saw how right from Karnataka to Telangana, Congress has been pushing it. So opposition obviously is saying that, we are going to take credit for this. So in all of that, how do you see this caste census issue sort of, play out?
Yeah, so of course, opposition can claim that it is gonna to like it can claim credit for this, but when we say opposition might be socialist parties are have more legitimate right to claim the claim over this issue rather than Congress party, which I see, because it was the Congress party which has decided not to include caste in the census. See, last census which happened like based on the caste was 1931, and it is said that like uh, one defense which has often come from Congress party, that it was abandoned by the colonial government itself in 1941 census. But fact of the matter is 1941 census was not completed because of Second World War. But like it was Congress government which has deliberately like has stopped conducting the census. And in 2011, of course, they did not conduct. So present issue comes like it comes in both way. So even Congress party has gone for conducting survey in certain elections like Karnataka and Telangana. It is what we say, it is rather than like conviction for for social justice or other things. Now it has become a political compulsion. So political compulsion in two way. One, because of there is rising demand from politicians and activists coming from backward castes. And another issue which I see from the move of the Congress party, now it appears that party has realized that it's one of the core support base which used to come from upper caste, that is not gonna to come. It has gone to the BJP. So
Hmm.
now if Congress party has to become relevant, it has to it has to form a certain combination, which might be combination of Dalit, Muslims, and backward caste. So in order to form those kind of social coalition, it has to accept one of prime demand of backward castes. That is one portion. Same goes to the BJP. If it needs the support of backward castes, then it has to accept their one of the prime demand, which is caste census. Presently, we can see that is caste census is prime demand among backward castes.
Right, as you rightly pointed out, that Congress has realized that it needs to focus on the backwards, on the scheduled caste, and they're not getting the upper caste vote. Well, what about the BJP? Because BJP generally has been perceived as a party of the upper caste. So, how is this move going to impact that segment?
Yes, see, rather than I will say BJP as they
Mm.
argued to be party of the upper caste, it was Jansangh which was said as a party of upper caste. So first 10 year of BJP from 1980 to 1990, it was reincarnation of Jansangh. But 1990 onward, it has taken completely a U-turn in terms of its a caste policy, and BJP is no longer a party of upper caste. It is equally, its a major push has come from backward caste. So it's a mobilization of backward caste, and no one nowadays can deny over these issues. See, BJP's major problem will come when there is clash of interest from two castes. So by merely conducting caste census, there is no clash of interest between upper caste and backwards caste, and BJP can easily throw sail through while doing caste census. But issue will come when there would be contestation over the conflict over the issues. So, for example, increasing share limit of reservation. So then you can see there would be contestation, and that would be real challenge for the BJP. Merely conducting caste census is not a challenge for BJP, and it is not gonna to pose any serious threat for the party's endeavor. And rather than it strengthen also, it can help the party for mobilizing new castes and communities. So with my field travel in Uttar Pradesh, for example, I see Nisad and Kashyap, all these communities, they might be third largest caste and community in Uttar Pradesh within backward caste. But when we talk about backward caste, we generally think that okay, it is Yadav, Kurmis, or Lodh. But Nisas are present in Pan Uttar Pradesh, but politically they are insignificant. So those caste might take lead in or other way. I can say they can come on front seat of backward caste politics. So it has for if it is, it might helpful for the BJP also. It might helpful for other parties also. And here BJP has space for doing that kind of politics rather than existing caste-based parties.
Right.
So it can help it also.
Like as you pointed out, that just merely announcing and conducting the caste census exercise might not, affect the BJP. But when it will come to giving reservation based on the findings,
Yeah.
that will become a challenge for the party. And also, I wanted to understand, how do you look at the timing? We saw this announcement yesterday at a time when the Pahalgam terror attack has also taken place. Then you have the Bihar election. So how do you look at the timing of this move? Because BJP had also so far maintained an ambiguous stance on the issue. It had often accused the Congress of using the caste census demand to sort of create societal divisions. But at times we saw this statement by Amit Shah, who had said that something will be done.
Yeah. Yeah, so one thing which I see timing, we can see in this way that one issue is that BJP is probably the way it conducts election, its electioneering is somehow different. like it continuously goes on. Whatever is happening, its electioneering will continuously going on. So whether it is if there is terror attack or there is some other exigencies, so it has like a dedicated team for conducting election or dedicated machine for conducting elections. So immediately after like Delhi election, even the Delhi election was not result was not announced. Party conducted a meeting for review meeting for its preparation for Bihar election. So we can see like one way of looking into that, because party is already in the mode of Bihar election, and if it is consistently getting feedback from Bihar that okay, party would be like election has caste census has become big issue, so it cannot take like long chance to ignore of that demand. And also one another additional thing I wanted to mention, that Bihar was the first state where way back in 2014-15 people held rallies like social organizations such as Janit Abhiyan and other. They organized public rallies in Bhagalpur and all those places for conducting caste census. So you can see like those this issue has gone at the grassroots in Bihar 10 year 10 year ahead what we ago we what we are thinking. So I see it in from that perspective. And also like of course we can link with the terror attack also. Probably government wants to like shift little bit discussion from its intelligence failure. What if I accept, I use that frame to more on the social issues which is going on in the country.
Right. Just last few questions. How do you see this move in terms of, overall caste-based politics in India? How is this going to impact that?
Yeah, so one way which I can see impact, it might burst several narratives which have been built. So for example, it has potential to build the narrative like certain area are dominated by few caste. So actually politically having there is one thing which is called numerical domination, another is called political domination. So numerically a caste and communities can be small in number, but it might appear that this caste and community dominates, actually is dominant in the region. That domination comes from presence in public sphere. So 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 reason from where I come from, there it is said that Kurmis are predominant in the number, but actually numerically they might not be dominating in the number, but they might appear to be dominating because of the resources which they own. Schools, who is running the schools there, who has important shops and all these things. So that is one idea. But in actually in actual data, then they might not be dominating. So release of the caste census might like burst that kind of narrative which has been built up. So several places like Western UP is called Jatland. So some anthropologist way back in 60s conducted a survey, conducted a fieldwork based research and said that okay, this is a Jatland area. Now everyone is reproducing that kind of phrases. So this has potential like to burst that narrative, and new political formations can take place. As I said, Nisas are one community which appears to be, fisherman community appears to be predominant in Uttar Pradesh, but politically it is sidelined. Now those kind of communities might take lead in this division.
Right.
And also one another issue which largely constitutionally, which I see there might be shift. So for the distribution of the resources, there has been in the theories of justice, there has been a debate that they should be distributed based on the principle of equality of opportunity. Now, which is enshrined in Article 14 of Indian Constitution. now increasingly what I see, there is debate on proportionate representation. So for any distribution, there is increasing, like it might increase the logic of proportionate representation, and it can gain legitimacy also, at least based
जितनी
on
आबादी उतना हक
हाँ,
की
जितनी
बात कर रहे
आबादी उतना हक. Earlier, like BSP founder Kansiram used to say that
हैं.
he has launched the campaign saying that जिसकी जितनी संख्या भारी उसकी
Hmm.
हिस्सेदारी. So that has been now rephrased by Rahul
Rahul
Gandhi in
Gandhi, yes.
different word. Yeah, जितनी आबादी उतना हक. So that kind of like debate. So but in this debate we cannot argue that this might help exclusively Congress party or BJP, because it can takes, like actually it can take place, take shape in different form at grassroots level. So one can say backward, but within backward it can debate can go on. Okay, which caste is getting how much share? So that kind of debate might take place now.
Right. You must have seen that the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, its earlier stand was that it was not entirely in favor of it. And now, last year, and then after that, we saw that it said it should not be used for political purpose. How do you see that? Because a number of people are also pointing out that it will also lead to further divisions in the society. Yeah.
I don't see it can lead further division in the society, because if certain division like already existing. One reason is, another reason which I see, that numerically, although census is not conducted, but we know the share of the caste, and based on the survey data, of course, since our Supreme Court has not accepted, saying that okay, we do not, survey data is not valid for them, for our Supreme Court, that is not valid method, but across the world, surveys are considered to be one of the scientific method. And if you match the result which has come from Bihar survey data, and then you will match the CSDS estimation based on the national election study, you will not find there are like too much deviation. Like overall figures would be same. So we should not expect that some revealing figure will come, and it will create a moral panic, or and that kind of thing is gonna to happen. That should not be a concern at all. And probably the RSS change of the stance might come from this way also, because now now they know that okay, in Bihar there has been survey which has been done, and in Karnataka same has been done, but there isn't any like huge uphailing because of this. So if you have tested something, you are seeing the sample, it is not gonna to like hugely impact in that way. The way they might have aspersion. So in same way, like they would have thought that okay, now it is time to accept. When you have not like done something on that, anyone can say that it will torn the country apart. So any kind of claim can be made. But that's why we conduct pilot survey for looking into sample. Okay, what can be the impact of that? So this you can see like surveys of state can be seen as a pilot study for the
Right.
country. So now government knows that okay, it has been done, and it is not gonna to create huge problem in the country. So that could be the one reason. But of course, like at the minor level, uh, things will like things might change. Yeah.
Right. One last question. How do you see the impact of this move on the Bihar Assembly election? Right from Tejasvi Yadav, Lalu Yadav, we have seen statements who have said that, we have been fighting for this for several years, and finally this has happened, that the pressure that we put on the government.
Yeah. So Yeah, of course, one party, RJD, can't is legitimate to take credit for that because it has been consistently since 2019, even not since 2019, way back in before 2001 census, they have also raised this demand in parliament. They were forefront in raising the demand in the parliament. One reason is because backward caste commission, which the Mandal commission has also recommended that caste census should be conducted. I think it has recommended. So these parties have been consistently raising the demand. But on this issue, like I don't see like this is the lone issue on the basis of which they can take credit, and that credit will might work in Bihar, or it will work in Bihar, because in Bihar, this issue has least now, what we say, least significance, might be least significant in Bihar election. Reason is that there you have already conducted caste survey. So when caste survey has already been conducted, so curiosity, public curiosity might decline in that. So in that way, I cannot see real concern for real problem for Tejasvi Yadav and RJD in Bihar is how to mobilize most backward caste. So that's their major concern, rather than this kind of issues would be would less benefit for them. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar, for taking out time, and I'm sure our viewers will enjoy this insightful discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you.